We'll now start actually adding some real blog posts so you can see exactly what my process is and such. But before we do that, we're going to add a plugin that's going to help us add different parts of the blog post. And so if you go to plugins, add new, and then search for Easy Bootstrap Shortcode is the name of the plugin. And it's kind of difficult to explain exactly what it is and what it does right now. So first we'll just install it and activate it, and then when we're actually using it, then I'll explain more in depth what this plugin does. Now that we have the Easy Bootstrap Shortcode plugin installed, if you go to the editor for any post or any page, when we click on toolbar toggle, you'll see that in addition to these toolbars, we now have a whole new set of toolbars. And so pretty much what this plugin is doing is it's kind of putting our editor on steroids. So like instead of just adding a bulleted list, we can add not just a bulleted list, but we can add, a table, or we can add something called an accordion, which is this right here. And so this is actually an example of something we can do with this plugin. So this accordion, if we come in here, let's see here. Here we go. So I can click this to add an accordion, and this is what it will look like. So when I click on something, it expands. If I click on it, it minimizes. So it's a cool user interface element that we can now add because we've installed this new plugin. Or if you see this well, so it has like this border and it's kind of inside this well, it's called a well, we can add that through this plugin now that we have these new toolbar items. And the way it works is you just click on one of the items and it creates shortcode that you can then edit and adjust and manipulate to produce what you want. So for instance, with something like this accordion, so now that we have this accordion toolbar, let's click on it and it generates this shortcode. So if you remember what shortcode is, when we covered it, it's pretty much very simple code. And often it's generated for us by a plugin. So we want this accordion, so it generates a shortcode, and now all we have to do is edit it to whatever we want. So accordion title, and then inside here is the actual content, as it kind of tells us. And if we want more rows and stuff, we can just kind of copy one and paste it. So I'll even put new row, so we know that that one is the one that was just added. So let's preview this and see what the accordion looks like right now. So here we go. It's default created this accordion table with the dummy content, and so here's the new row. All I did was copy and paste one of these, and I have this new row. So it creates the shortcode for you, and then you just have to edit it. So with this title, I could just say, change it to anything I want, title 1, and then in here I could put any of the content I want. This is the first, let's say, row in this accordion. So now let's preview it, and as you can see, it reflects my changes. So it generates a shortcode for us. We don't have to know, what the specific shortcode is or anything. We just use the toolbar items, and then all we have to do is find, where we need to add our content. And usually with this plugin, it's pretty descriptive, right? So accordion title. Well, that's where we put in the title, and where do we put our content? Right here, it explains toggle to content goes here. And then if you want to create more rows, I could just copy this and repaste it, or if I want less, I could just delete certain rows and I'll have less rows. So let's actually delete it. So I only have 3 rows now, so instead of these 5, there's only 3. Hit preview, and there we go. And so there's a lot of things we can add with this plugin. We can add buttons. We can add icons. So let's go ahead and add an icon too. Cool little icon. So again, it's kind of like if we put the editor on steroids, we can add all these other little things that we couldn't add before. Let's add this, and we'll make it the size of 40 pixels font size so we can see it. So we insert it, and again, it generates the shortcode for us. So it's generating the simple code that's telling WordPress, okay, create this little icon. So let's look at it. Whoops, I need to exit out of it, and let me hit preview. Here we go. Here's that little icon that we just inserted. So you can kind of play around with it. There's a whole bunch of different features, and we'll be using some of them as we create some new blog posts.